Good afternoon. We're doing streaming at a different time today, and that's because I do not keep a regular schedule, and I am now on a night schedule. So I was asleep during the time that I streamed in the past, which makes it not very much an option. So we're working on this. Which is the roads for the voxel city. The voxel roads for the voxel city. And we have this view so that we don't have to navigate the 3D world to figure it out. And the most recent thing I did is you can see at the center of each grid cell there's a box like this box and this box. And most recent thing I did was add roads across the middle where it was viable. But those roads do not create intersections. So that's what we need to do, is create intersections, and we need to split roads so they don't extend through intersections, although maybe they could. Maybe that's not a problem. I think we want them to be split at intersections, though. And then we need to start deciding where buildings go, because that's the whole point of this crazy design. It's that all these roads are used to determine where to place the buildings, using the strategy we've talked about with the corners and edges coming first, and deciding where buildings in the corners and edges go. And I'm going to bump into my microphone, so I have to move it. I apologize for the noise. And we need to start taking a road width seriously at some point. Yeah, let's do intersections. So what I'd like to do is be able to see if roads go through intersections. So let's make the visualizer. That's in main. Here's where we draw the intersections. Let's expand them by a little bit. That's not expanded by enough. And then let's make the roads be at most 20. And then let's draw the intersections before the roads. And see if we can see where roads cross intersections. Yeah, we can. Everywhere. Oh, well, that's because the roads go... Okay, we need to have the roads pull back. Are we guaranteed they're in sorted order? I think we are. Let's generate make road. Make clipped road. Does it sort? No, but it's relying on them being sorted. Let's sort. Oh, it's sorting right here. Hey, let's put comments in the code. Sort. So x0 less than equal x1, y0 less than equal to y1. Discard side. Flip to chunk. Let's see. Okay, so they are sorted. So therefore, so x0 to x1 are sorted, and then those become yeah, P and Q. So P is always smaller. Okay, so if we add 4, or add 8, we're insetting it. So hopefully this contracts the roads back from their intersection point. Yeah. So this will let us see if the road goes through, like here. It goes through. And here it goes through. And did I break this? Or is that already like that? That's at 1, 1. There's no way that makes any difference. Yeah, I guess that's just always been like that. Wonder why. It ought to go all the way out. I think I changed something. Yeah, I think I vaguely know why that isn't connecting. Because every corner, this is a corner between the green and the gray, and every corner has a box in it. Oh, I guess I stopped drawing the box is part of why. I used to just draw the boxes probably, and I don't anymore. Because the boxes are supposed to be picked up by the edges. The edges are supposed to reconstruct the boxes, but they're only incompletely doing it here. So if we're going to want to split roads, like right now along the edges, like why is that one not split? Along the edges they ought to be split, unless I don't do that the way I think you do. Generate edges. Make intersection on edge. Butte road edge. So it's the side road, and I thought I made the side road in lots of little segments. Yeah, I don't even construct roads. I just construct these facing road descriptors, and the road chunk does it. So we take the road crossing. Oh no, this is the thing we were just looking at. This is disappearing. This is the corner roads that seem to be disappearing. Not sure why they're gone. then we go along each edge. And then we go along each crossing. We make an edge that goes, make a road that goes from the edge to the facing road, if there is one. This is us connecting it up to the box at the center. Okay, then we go, yeah, here's the one that's drawing the facing roads. And it only draws it from J to J+1. So this road ought to be getting stopped. Or wait, did I disable the viewer thing? I disabled it. God damn. God damn it. Yes, okay, so it is stopping short. Let's contract it even further. All right, so these are stopping short. These are not. That's fine. That's kind of intentional. These don't generate intersections. Yeah, so 12 is probably the good compromise. Yeah, we generate this little bit of road, but it doesn't go all the way. Weird. Let's figure this out. We need to get that to be correct. So that's the facing road. Well, which edge is responsible for it? This edge could be the facing road on this side, could be the facing road on this side. Yeah, maybe the edges shouldn't do them. Because it's not clear which edge is responsible for it. Okay, so if the edges shouldn't do them, then the question is why the existing code to do it from the corners isn't working. Take each corner. There's a very fat road here and a skinnier road here. Okay, let's just rely on test road network running. So disable the road stuff from the voxels. And that way when we breakpoint, it's predictable. So we want to break here. Yeah, some of them get cropped. They're all getting cropped? Wait, what? Uh-huh. Okay. Y1 is positive. Oops. Come on. Set next statement. Thank you. Okay, this one. What? X0 greater than equal road network side, or X1 is less than 0. Y0 greater than equal road network chunk size. None of those are true. Why did we just return? X0 greater than equal road network chunk size, which is 1024. X0 is not greater than equal road network chunk size. X1 is not less than 0. Y0 is not greater than equal 1024. Y1 is not less than 0. What? Let's see if that, yeah. Okay, what am I missing? Road network chunk size. 1U shift left road network chunk size log 2. That's 10. 1U shift left 10 is 1024. Okay, let's go to the debugger. I mean to the disassembly. Compare it to 1024. Why is X0? Because that's unsigned. So it's doing an unsigned comparison, and so it converts the negative to it's dumb. Yeah, when I did this shift, when I changed this to a log 2 thing, where's the header file? Oh, it's only in generate. When I did this, I changed that to unsigned, and that broke that comparison. Yeah, it might be that the combinator was a rotation thing. That sounds vaguely familiar, like I might have figured that out and just not felt like fixing it or something. I don't remember. I do remember noticing it. I don't remember if I realized that was the issue. Okay, but anyway, we've got our boxes back. So, you just witnessed somebody debugging something by going to the disassembly. Although I didn't actually really use this disassembly to figure it out. But it told me which of the two comparisons was failing. So now where we make those to make them super narrow, and that way we can see if anybody else is also making them, because we don't want the road edges to put them down and the corners to put them down. Okay, so they're super skinny except at the transition because the edge is trying to put it down. And we know that on each edge, the first and the last intersection, or first and last crossing, are the ones that do that. So this is the facing road. These are the intersections. These are connections. So it's these right here. So, right, because we had a version of this where we were going to store up to 2 edges. But we don't need that anymore if we take the rule. And that was how we were going to handle this specific problem. But if we instead say that we're just going to get them from... Oh, but if we get them from the corners, then we can't split them. I think the logic needs to be more complicated, because we need to handle, what's an example of this? Yeah, here. We need to handle this case. So if we just generated the roads from the box corner, we'd lose the box goes through here. But if we try to communicate this in the crossing, so we have crossing data here, and we have crossing data here. This crossing needs 2 intersections. To imply the road extending on either side of this intersection. But we'd actually be storing this intersection. We wouldn't even get these 2 intersections. So I think the way to store it is just that they just separate. That the corner stores this, the edge stores this point, and it's up to the chunk, the road chunk, to synthesize that and reconstruct what's intended. I think that's necessary. In which case, I think it's annoying, but I think we want to change so before the road edge crossings here stored, let me show it again. For an edge like this, the road edge crossings are currently actually storing this point, this point, this point, and this point. And I think we want to discard this point. It's storing this point because it gives it an extra. It's like a fence post problem. You need each of these points stores a distance horizontally, but also the distance from the edge. And this distance right here, like this point, it stores this point and this distance, this point and this distance, this point and this distance, effectively. Do we ever transition? I don't think we ever switch between. No, we do. We do. So we do still need 2 intersections. But the whole point is that that 0th intersection isn't actually ever really getting used. We skip it a lot. And I think, even though it's going to probably break the code a bit, we just want to get rid of it, having that be present and having it be skipped. So somewhere there's a rec here. So here's where we construct it. We say this one we're going to get rid of. And then when we iterate through them, which is in road chunk, we have a lot of places where we iterate from 1 to enumeric, and now we can iterate from 0 to enumeric. So you just get rid of that unnecessary complication. I guess what we should do is search for numeric, because that'll be used anywhere we iterate. This should start at 1 now. What is this code even doing? Oh, it's... compute interior box for chunk. Based on corners. Move interior box inward to avoid colliding with data from edges. Ding 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 ding. Okay, so now what we were saying is we don't want to generate crossings for these. Let's make these separate loops. We don't want to generate these crossings for that, I think. So this is mostly okay. I don't know why these get this little thing at the edge. That seems to me like that's still generating a different road that's very short. I don't know who's generating that. Let's disable all of these and see if that's still present or not. Yes, it is. What got disabled? What's missing? I don't see anything important missing. I mean, there's some things missing, but they're things that were probably already missing. So I'm not even sure what this code is doing now. I guess I should just make a big road. So we can see which ones it is. I guess that's these. Okay, let's do it relative to this guy. So it's making these big things, but then there's still little ones also corresponding to it. That's coming from these. These are going all the way to the edge. I don't think any of this logic is right. We do store two intersections. So maybe that is okay. But if these generate, then these shouldn't generate. I mean, these generate to facing road disc. That doesn't seem right. All right, let's just take these out and see what we're missing. Because I think maybe these now, since they always generate to the box, connect to the box, they're going to be redundant anyway. But they go through the crossing. Right. So we need. Okay, we got to find where these are coming from and remove them. Let's stick to that as the party. Where are these coming from? They're pretty wide. So where are we pushing width up high? Let's put all the really generated widths relatively consistent. So the road corners don't actually generate roads, and the road edge generates roads. Sets width to 16. Right, we were allowing these to be different sizes while we were debugging them. Now they're just always 16. We just set them all to 16. They're all 16. Okay, so where are we getting wider roads? Here's a narrow road at 12. The 16s. This one's disabled. 24. But no, that we know that connects to the center, so that's okay. That's the actual width. I don't see wide roads anywhere. Shouldn't be that, I don't think. Hey, it's that. Okay, what are these ones doing? If we're not, oh, these are just redundantly doing what these were doing. Okay. If we, oh no, I see, this does it if it has an intersection. This is supposed to be doing if it doesn't have an intersection, except we don't check if it doesn't have an intersection. My God, this is so complicated. It's so simple conceptually, and it's so complicated in practice. Like, I wonder if there's some simpler way to slice it that I'm just not thinking of. Okay, let's go back to edges. We want to make sure the edges produce intersections consistently. Okay, so the various variations determine where the intersections will be. Why do we make the make the intersections here? Make intersection on edge. Yeah, this should actually create two intersections. This should actually be doing the right thing. God, I'm having so much trouble thinking this through. I don't know why. Why is this not auto hiding? Oh, great. Oh, I'm having so much trouble thinking this through. Why does this have an edge crossing it? What is going on here? Oh my God, what a mess. Okay, I think the intersections are correct. So when we get to the road chunks, they need to pick the road intersection that's on the right side. Okay. In chunk. OP plus edge origin x. Why does it still say x origin? I thought okay. Minus, then we want our chunk origin. if in road chunk, then we break. I expect a tiny improvement from that, but probably not a significant one. It's hard to even say we have a tiny improvement. We've lost this intersection. That doesn't seem like an improvement. What is this road? It doesn't seem like one that I allow. We do simple connections. Okay, we have 2 corners. We generate 4. Somewhere we have the list of 4 corner side disks of J and I. Okay. So sub 0 is the smaller one, sub 1 is the larger one. So if D is less than, side disk of 0, 0, or D is less than corner side disk 1 of 0. No, and it has to be outside both, or if it's greater than both, and then do we have a fallback if none of them work? Yeah, we do. I don't even remember where that one was that I didn't like. That's that. It's still there. All right, let's see which one that is. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2. So it's a horizontal edge at 4, 2. Okay, and then we get to here. Allow tangent connection. Allow direct connection. And then allow simple connection. No, all of them failed. So what was that then? So we should get side dist, use side dist as false. Potentially generate two side discs matching the corners. This test is only valid if one of those fired. We allow this code to run even if side disk wasn't true. Yeah, side disks were initialized to 0. So this logic is just wrong. None of this works if use side disk isn't true. It's just generating something bogus. It's using side disk and it needs to not use side disk. Like the code to compute it here, we need to actually go grab the actual distances. One, two, three, four, 1, 2. It's still there. Where's this coming from then? It has to be coming from the chunk. So the chunk is, I think, 4, 1. Oh, I remember. I moved it down here. We can let this all run, all that run, all that run. Well, yeah. What did I say? 4, 1. All right. So then this is the top edge, which is edge 1, as the top left corner, which is 1, 0. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Okay, so it's this edge. So it's towards the beginning. Okay, here we go. Edge is horizontal. Okay, here we make a road. We're making a road 176, 1024, 176, 992. We're looking for a road that's horizontal and probably has a Y of about 992. So let's just run make clipped road, break in make clipped road, and look for that. So the Y1, oh no, it'll be further down. So like 863, but it's two different X's. Small X's. The X's are, so like maybe that. So who's making that? That is an intersection with yeah, it's making a facing road distance non-zero. But we saw that it use side dist was 0. Okay, well let's check. I think we're on the wrong. No, it's 4.2. That was the one we were looking at, right? Four-two horizontal. Yeah, that was the one we were looking at. And when we looked at it, each side dist was 0. And all the side dists were 0. So all the facing roads were 0. Facing road is 0. Facing road is 0. How many are there? 4. So the end ones are getting updated. Probably I remember the code that does that, but they should be getting updated to match the corner boxes. That needs to get removed, but make intersection. Okay, so somewhere around here, yeah, it's this. We just don't want to do that. And there's an equivalent one for 0. Dist from corner, it's okay. It's the facing road dist. Side dists are all 0. Rec dot road width rec dot. Where do we initialize rec dot facing dist? Do we not initialize it? Okay, first of all, rec 2 is gone. We don't initialize it. I think somebody else is responsible for filling this out, actually, so we don't have to, but it was just uninitialized. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2. Okay. That is just not connected. Now it ought to get a simple connection in here somewhere, and I don't know why it's not. So let's go look at, because I just added some suppression of simple connections. So let's check that. Let's see if I broke that. Yeah, we're not actually going to do what he originally announced that we were. I was thinking of doing. We're going to do something different, but yeah. So when we compute the simple connections, here we are. Okay, so we try d of negative 40. Oh, this cut and paste is wrong. Okay, that's easy to fix. I forgot to change these to 1. I don't even remember what we decided on doing, but it's different. Okay, so now we get that connection. We get these connections. I think these are at slightly different heights, and that's why they're not connected, but it might also just be a bug. Maybe they're supposed to be connected, and it's not. Yeah, I think they are supposed to be connected, and we didn't add it, which is a bug. This one did connect on this side, but this one didn't connect on this side. This is that fence post thing I was talking about. This is sub n minus 1. This is sub 0. Why is... Oh, right, no. It's going upwards. So it connected on this side, but it didn't connect on this side. I don't know why these roads are so short. Right, well, one thing at a time. Let's not pull back from the edge in the visualizer if it's on a chunk boundary. They've lost the chunk boundary knowledge. Something like that. Okay, so this one is still pulled back from the edge, which is weird. Oh, if I do that, I need to only do it at the edge that's... It's doing it on this side, but it's not doing it on that side. I wonder if that's only going to 1023 because of clipping, probably. Also, it wasn't handing signs correctly. I mean, my name doesn't sound like he would be my brother. Okay, so now they do go right up to the edge with a tiny, tiny gap, but they don't go into the intersections. That one does. Okay, and somewhere we were seeing that we weren't getting a facing edge that we thought we should get. Yeah, like this should connect. Okay, so that is the edge 1, 2, 1. So that's 2, 1 horizontal. And the very first road edge crossing isn't setting side dist, it looks like. Although, wait, why is this one? Interesting. I guess I didn't realize that was viable. Alright, so first, before we try to debug it, let's just see if we can see it. So the first REC doesn't set a side dist. We say facing road dist equals 0. But yeah, it should actually be setting it. Yeah, we've computed everything we've got need here. So is use side dist of 0. Maybe. So now that one's connected. I'm not sure which ones were broken before. That one's connected. Okay, that looks overall better. We're still getting these doublings, but thin line and a thick line that we need to track down. But that's better. One thing at a time. Okay, so now let's do the thin line, thick line problem. So we're generating 2 different roads for this, and we use the thick line to figure out where the second road was coming from, which is this, I think. Is this the only one, or was there another one? Oh, this is the one that's if zeroed out, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So it was a different fat one. Is it this 24 here? No. No, that's this. Yes, it's that. Okay. So if we just don't make these, we're losing this. maybe we just don't make them at the edges because we set the corners, because we said the corners need to be special. Rec. Okay, we're almost there. We're just getting some crossings of our intersections. The crossings in the boxes we know about. We know those need fixing. But it's the crossings along here that are concerning. But that might just be this code that we're looking at right here. Yeah, because these go from the origin. Okay, so we need this logic. And so x0 if k less than 2. Let's put that in a boolean. Valid intersection. Valid intersection equals k less than 2. If valid intersection, then x0 plus equals rec or k dot x apparently. Not quite right. So now we're drawing the edge from the road to the middle box correctly, but then we're not drawing the little edge out. Don't know what this edge is. That's just broken. That's this drawing to the wrong side. That's supposed to draw down to there, and it drew all the way up to here. So yeah, so this isn't right. But it should be E x origin and arch origin x. Why would it not be that? Because we're processing E. So why would you end up on the other side? Well, it was the Y case. Let's look at the Y case. Why would that? I don't think it, because it doesn't even trigger this. Is it this logic is wrong? Y0 equals 0? I mean, I can see that that's potentially going to break. That might have been it. I don't remember where that thing was, but it doesn't seem to be around anymore. Okay, so we still have this. Okay, so this is a good example of how the road edge thing is supposed to work. So there's a corner here, there's a corner here, like this corner and this corner. So we build roads around them. Then we need to build roads connecting across here and going across. So we put the roads going across here, and then we want to connect as many as possible, but we want to connect to these roads if possible. So this road goes out to here, this road goes out to here. They don't meet on the same one. They probably should. That's the wheel side meet, which is whether they are too close together, the min intersection spacing. And they seem like they're min intersection spacing apart, so they should actually be able to meet on the same one. And possibly they are, and I'm not setting the intersections correctly. So it's drop the intersection. But what's missing is the intersection is not drawing the connection to the edge of the road. Which is code that's in there, and maybe I disabled. Yeah, the only reason you could just do a totally strict grid, but it would be a pretty boring looking city if it was just on a simple grid. So we have to introduce variety intentionally. It also means that you don't have long sight lines. Like if you have really long straight roads, let's go to ZMC1. Although I can't disable the fog in this one. Right, if you had long roads, then you would see far into the distance, and if you didn't have fog, you would be able to see that the buildings aren't there. So this just guarantees that you after a little while you'll run into a building blocking the infinite sightline. Although there is code in there to allow you to create long sightlines if you want. But you'd just be forced to have really long sightlines if you did it. Yeah, no curved streets because it's voxels, that's all. I mean, you could make them, but they'd be approximate curves, and it just seems more natural for a voxel city to just stay on a grid. All right, anyway. Okay, so we were missing roads connecting intersections to, which is this. So now you have this fat road connecting, because I just made them fat to test. Okay, so I think that's right. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good. That one goes into deep. Don't know why. That's weird. Is it drawing this road more than once? Oh no, that's the yeah, that's an edge boundary. The color change, it wasn't sufficient to reveal that. So maybe we do uh, um, here's where we do the grid. Actually, it's that's the times 4. Yeah, so now that gap is more clearly, obviously, because of this. Let's make that blue. Boom, 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 boom. Make it a brighter blue. All right. So we can start working on fixing all these intersections. Or we can start putting down our buildings. I think let's start putting down our buildings just because. Why is there no intersection there? Just because I'm just destroying my brain thinking about this stuff, and it's a pretty orthogonal problem. So, road edge. Wrong file. Road edge. So when we have our road edge, do we just want lots? I think we'll do bidding. So we have lot dimensions, do seed, zoning. We actually want everything that we need to be able to construct it. Eventually, we're not going to do any of this stuff right now. We're just going to do the lot dimensions. We need which side are we facing. U8 int entrances. Road has facing roads front side. But all we're going to do for now is that. I don't know what zoning data we'll have, but it has to be consistent, so we might as well generate it at that stage. Okay, so now corners. A road corner needs 4 buildings. Let's explicitly store an origin. Okay, so then building. Let's see, building. So we're just always going to put 2 by 2 in corners for now. Then a road edge needs split into lots that correspond to road edge crossings. So it goes into the road edge crossing, actually. Building, edge building. And let's just say we could have up to 8 number building. Yeah, the city is about where it has been for the last week. It's just trying to get all these roads super coherent. And I actually, to speed up the thing, I disabled generating the roads in the map. But if I turn back on, they just look exactly the same as they did before. Oh, I did add sloping. That might be since you were here. Yeah, they're sloped to follow the train, sort of. It's a little hacky, but it's getting there. I had to add to the GPU compute shader generator. Oh, look, there's a bug. No, it's not a bug. It's just the train. Okay. I had to add a sloped slab to the terrain generator, to the GPU generator. But yeah, but now if we put in buildings, we can start to get closer to a city. So that's one of the reasons to do this now. All right, so buildings. Oh, I also need the biome. I think we'll do, just for now, we'll just say it's a 32-bit number. I think what a biome might be is, although maybe zoning carries a lot of that. I was thinking it could be kind of parametric, like it maybe is an 8-bit value is the biome, but maybe you could have sort of sub info generated about the biome, that goes in the lower bits, but that might be what the zoning, that might be what I was thinking of for zoning as well. So that makes the zoning here redundant. Okay, so we want to go to our corner and we want to generate the lots. So we have sizes, width, and height, and we want to split the width and height. I mean, let's just split them in half for now, right? Like, so make building corner dot c building go to I to j we make our building at see origin, it's going to go from I times I plus 32 j plus 0 plus 1 times 32 j plus 1 times h2. That's kind of wrong, but close enough, because this using the half width is just a temporary hack. So make building, we want to have picked a biome for this corner. So the main thing we need to get through is the dimensions. So let's just do that for now, and a seed. And we'll expand that in the future. So then make building. Point origin. Make point. Make point without an underscore. Okay. So now we make a building for each corner. And then, obviously that should be J and I. And then let's pump that, pipe. Wire that all the way through. What's the verb I'm looking for? Plumb that all the way through? It's a RR, it's just random from A to B. just didn't want to type out a long thing because it gets used a lot in the procgen, so it's worth making it idiomatic and having to know it. I guess plum is what I was thinking. It doesn't sound quite right. So we have like make road. Yeah. So we want make make clipped building. Road chunk, C, building B. And if this chunk, this building falls within this chunk, so I still got to write. I got to write a little 2D integer vector point manipulating thing. So I don't know if I have to write this stuff out all the time. X equals b arrow p dot x plus b arrow p dot q dot x over 2. Y is this. Those need to be plus b arrow origin dot x plus b arrow origin dot y. So then to clip it, we say subtract from c arrow origin dot x, subtract from c origin dot y. If in road chunk xy, then we actually generate it, and so we say we'll just go no, yes, yeah, they don't really want to see raw buildings, but I don't really want to expose raw buildings out of this file. So we'll do a debug building x0, y0, x1, y1. So then we say this will be our push C arrow building list star B, and then we say it's to be our push building list of DB debug building DB equals p.x. Goes into base.h. Extern debug building. Building list. And then road chunk needs building. We have to define building before now. Nobody defined building list. Okay. And then we have to finish plumbing it all the way through because road chunk needs to actually call it. So road chunk, where does road chunk iterate the corners? building. No, not make building. Make, what did I call it? Clipped building. Clipped building of chunk and of building. And I'm just going to be lazy. Okay. So that will try to attach it to RCH, and it will put it into the global, so we can debug the global. What? Oh, right, because they debug. The debug one did that conversion. Let's contract it. Actually, we need to contract it by the roads. We're not even doing that currently, but we'll do that elsewhere. And then the obvious code that I need to put into a function. I do not see any buildings in the corners. X0, X1, Y1, Y1. That looks correct. We're setting a color. We're still inside the thing. I think we're just drawing one building right here. Okay, they're not being offset by the... They're not being offset into world space. Which is debug building's fault. Okay, so now we're putting into each of the little boxes, but they're in the wrong place because they should be surrounding the corner, not offset into the thing. So we're not including, yeah, so I know what that is. No, I don't need that second set of curly braces probably, but I don't know where that was. For the second loop. Oh yeah, I do tend to put them in just for cleanness. Most people put all of them in, and I don't. But I do tend to put them in if there's an inner loop with them and not an outer loop without them. Okay, so the corner isn't being offset. That's in this code. I forgot that this needs to actually be displaced by this here, right here. These are computing where the actual corner size is. So it should be think just c dot x0 plus c dot y0 plus they have not been displaced correctly. Oh, they haven't displaced correctly. Yeah, now they're centered in their boxes. But they need to be retreated by the road size. So, that's in the... So these, do they specify the road width? Compute road corner. Road corner. Road widths. Yeah, they do compute the road widths. They do specify the road widths, except we weren't actually doing it. Okay, so now what we actually do is we say the actual box is c dot x0 plus road width side west. Is that how I notate that? Yeah, side W. Y0 equals c dot y0 plus c dot road width side south. We retreat by half the width. Yeah. Side east. Side north. Let's change all these to be slightly faster and round correctly. Although they're always positive, so it shouldn't matter. So now, and then we generate split points for them. And what we'll actually do is say x3, y of 3. This is x sub 0, y sub 0, x sub 2, y sub 2. And then x of 1 equals x of 0 plus x of 2, shift plus 1. Y of 1 equals x of 0, y 2. But we actually allow these to be offset randomly, but I don't know by how much is safe, so I'm just going to do a small amount for now. RR. Well, I know I pushed them by safe dist. No, it depends on the min lot size and max lot size and stuff like that. So we'll just hack it for now. Let's just do 12. And then these are just make building c dot x0 of x of I plus 1. No, x of I, t at y0 plus j of I, and y of j. Oh my god. C dot x1 plus x of I plus, no. We're just using c of x0 and c of y0 as a origin. Oh, we've already added those. Yeah. It's just this. I did all the work. I don't need to do any of that complexity anymore. Okay. So now hopefully those buildings have been made to fit properly and they're slightly randomized size. And they need to be inside that. Right, so now these are semi-random sized. They're not pulled back from the road properly on the right. The code to do that was where? I was supposed to be adding it, and I forgot to add it. C.road width. Oh, yeah, no, subtract. There we go. Okay, so they're pulled back from the roads. And now we do that along the edge as well. And these are tiny buildings probably. So let's plumb that through to this. So when we do a road chunk, we need to make sure we zero that. Make road chunk. Yes, it's zeroed. Okay. Birch is zeroed. Yeah. Okay, so our road chunk contains buildings that might overlap it, and so we can now create buildings that correspond to those buildings. So we do for, do we have an I? Yeah, for I equals 0, I less than RCH, wait, what's it called now? RCH dot. Building list. The building origin we called clip, so we made sure it's actually in this road chunk, but we don't know it's in this chunk. Right, okay, so point equals RCH. So building asterisk B equals address of building list of I, and we have origin x. Okay, so let's just do it the dumb way for now. Just build out our thing. And then check if that is clipped. So if x0 is less than, minus origin x, if x0 is less than 256 and x1 is greater than 0, and y0 is less than 256 and y1 is greater than 0, then the building overlaps this chunk. So set rand seed of b arrow seed to make sure we generate the same building everywhere. Then we say floor height and floors. And then we create building, and it starts at x0, y0, and it goes to x1, y1. And then we have like the window width and that stuff that we can randomize. Maybe? I have no idea. No idea if I left something out. See no buildings. Let's see if we ever call that. Oh, there's buildings. Okay, they're just totally in the wrong place. And they're like bumping into each other. Yeah, okay, so totally busted. Let's just see what's happening. Negative 23, negative 20 to 67, 77. Okay, and if we get that, we have these asserts. Okay, so we shouldn't be generating outside of our intended area. Why are they not? They're probably in the wrong space. Building list. We push in B, which is in its own space. We made sure every building we store its origin explicitly. When we make the building, we store its origin, and we have relative coordinates. Let's check out where we make it. It's adding c.x0, but that's relative coordinates. There's no absolute coordinates here. So this is all relative coordinates. This breakpoint here. Why, when I loop through, is these not? Oh, because we're, yeah, of course they're the same. Yeah, they're all always in relative coordinates. That's all fine. Okay, so we're in a chunk. The road chunk, it's way off over here. That makes sense. That's a little farther than I think it should be able to be. Oh, we're subtracting the row chunk origin, not our chunk origin. That's the bug. We're working with chunks now, not row chunks. Origin. These are voxel chunks, not row chunks, because the row chunks are on a different scale. And now we hit this failure. So we got 275 to 276, negative 34 to negative 38. So we have a building that is 160 to 276, negative 34 to 38. So it's crossing on the right side. That should be valid. Okay, so what is our test here? The building is within the range, but individual slabs can be outside. Okay. So So we just need to silently cull them if they're out of range. If x0 greater than equal to 6 or x1 is less than equal to 0, because it's exclusive. Think maybe that's gonna work. I mean, these certs are just to catch programming errors, and so we're saying it's not a programming error, so it could just delete the asserts as well as adding this logic, but okay, so did not work. It put them in the right spot relative to the, because there's a little road box around them that you can see, but it didn't generate them on this side. It only generated them on that side. It's generating them a little too close together. Are they being contracted? I thought I contracted them. Oh, and these are those holes again. Okay, so let's look at the contracting. Where did I contract them? I contract them by the lot. Then I wanted to contract the building relative to the lot. Oh, that I did that in debug building. I didn't do it here. They are moved in by the roads, though. Okay, so now they don't overlap each other. Though they should each be pulled in by 4, so that should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it is. We just have to figure out why we're not generating them on... We're only generating them on one side, I guess, it looks like. No, actually... Okay, there's some kind of chunk debugger. Control C? No. Shift C? There we go. Aha. Yeah, okay, so it's not generating... them in the adjacent chunks, but where's one where they're not so close to the corner? Okay, here. Okay, so they're only generating where do we start? Let's change our start point to 0, 0. So we know where we are. This should be horizontal. It's horizontal. Okay, so it's only generating it at the positive side. It's only generating it. It's only generating buildings. From the chunks perspective, it's only generating buildings at the bottom left. It's not generating buildings at the top right. So probably some kind of clipping origin problem. So building is only getting generated. Right. It needs to generate buildings that overlap, partly. So it's this logic. So like, but the building does need to start. No, this is right. The building needs to overlap the chunk. And if this isn't true, then it doesn't overlap the chunk. X0 is less than 2v6. Y0 is less than 2v6. X1 is greater than 0. Well, yeah. It has to overlap the chunk, and that doesn't overlap the chunk. It's like it's not getting added. The clip logic is wrong, maybe. Make clip building. Well, interesting. We only generate the debug building if. Oh, that's in the road chunk, not in the. No, it's still the same logic. We always generate it in some road chunk. So there's some road chunk that has the building in it. So then some chunk should overlap that. Okay, we do this for all four corners, right? J of I, the four buildings in the four corners. What would it be missing? I don't know how to debug it. Okay, we create chunks. What's our chunk? Build map doesn't actually create, it just creates global state. Okay, so let's int bcount equals 0, or bcount actually just bcount equals 0. Plus bcount. Then when we make our chunks, C arrow bcount equals bcount. Extern int bcount. And then when we draw the chunk debugger, let's change the coloring if it has a building. If C arrow B count. Oh, I didn't actually add it to the type. chunk in B count. CR B count grade 0, GL color 3F. What? What? C is null. Okay. That is not a pattern I was expecting to see. So here we can see I should highlight which one you're in. It does not seem to correspond at all. I'm very confused. We're definitely in the chunk that has the data now, and it does not seem to be the origin of a white dot. But also the pattern of white dots is just bogus. Right, we should have 4 chunks with a greater than 0 B count, but not having 4 chunks with it, we would expect to see the non-zero B count every 4 by 4 chunks. We would expect to see them in its regular pattern. And instead, like, why are there 2 here? Why are there 2 diagonal here? Like, what? Okay, so B count is just wrong or something. So where do we store it? We store it here when we call make chunk. Make chunk calls clear map, calls make point, calls build map. So build map is setting it. So the problem is we're doing it before build map instead of after build map. All right. Okay, so we see that regular grid pattern that we expected, but it's offset randomly, implying that only that the chunk that's getting it is different in different. Yeah, here it's the top right. Here it's the top left. The bottom left. It corresponds to which way the origin is offset. It's always the bigger one. Whichever one is biggest gets it. Why would that happen? Okay, it could be because none of the buildings fully overlap, and so the logic for whether to grab buildings is wrong, like this logic. None of them fully overlap it. But we're not checking for full overlap. We're checking for any overlap. That's what this line does. There should be any overlap, not full overlap. Does create building itself do some culling? No, it just rocks on with the pudding slabs. So more likely it's that the building list is called already, which we do, but that is called exactly the way the debug buildings are called. I get it. Again, this test is only valid for this, for the debug chunk. Not valid for the regular one. For the regular one, we just want to know, does it overlap at all? Which requires us to do that x0, y0 test. If x0 is less than road network chunk size and x1 greater than 0 and y0 road network chunk size and y1 is greater than equal to 0, then that. Okay, hopefully this works. Yep, looks good. The buildings seem a reasonable size. Roads are too narrow, but that's fine. We're not worrying about the road right now. All right, so we're getting buildings in our corners. Let me check in. I should have checked in earlier, but why is this being slow? Oh, the NAS probably spun down. Yeah, the buildings need to actually compute what height to be at, and they don't. But I don't see a difference in x0 and y0. Yep, you're right. These were done backwards. We probably just weren't culling at all at this step, and then a different step was culling. Yeah, I think that's right. Thank you for that catch. But anyway, yeah, so the buildings should compute the height that they're going to be at. But they can also have basements, so it's okay for them to go under the terrain. They just shouldn't have windows when they go under the terrain. Oh, 07. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay. So now we can start putting the buildings along the road edges. We won't be able to put the buildings into the interiors of the chunk because we need the logic for that stuff to get finished. But all this logic on the road edges was to enable it to make buildings in a sane way. I haven't put in the facing edge yet. We should do that. Facing mask. That can go after that. B dot facing front side. Facing roads, bit mask equals this is front side guess we can just so we can choose which front side for each building, and we know which roads it faces. So point facing mask. So if you're 0, 0, then you're at the bottom left. So you face the west and south roads. If you're 0, 1, you're bottom right. So you face the east and south road. If you're 1, 0, you face the west and north roads. And the remaining one must be the remaining combination. And then the front side has to be one of those two. Let's just make the list instead of trying to decode it from it. Side west, side south, side east, side south, side west, side north, side east, side north. In fact, we can construct the facing mask from that. It's 2, 2. It's 2, 2, 2. I didn't nest this. Do we have a random number generator set? Yeah, we do. Front equals front sides of j of I of RR 0, 1. Wait, is RR inclusive or exclusive? I forget now. I think it's inclusive. Yeah, it's inclusive. In fact, let me... except I lost the undo trick. What was I editing? I've already forgotten. I was make building. Okay, here I'm on it. Okay, so we aren't actually doing anything with the front side currently, but maybe we should. Let's go into building generator. Create building. Let's put the front side here. The arrow front side. The plan is to like turn the stairs and the elevator to match that front side, but I'm not going to do that yet. But we can do something special to, let's say, the front texture. Oh, I guess I can just do that here. Yeah, that's why there's a mask that says that there are multiple sides that face the road. So then it's up to the building to decide, is this the kind of building that has multiple front entrances, or is it like if it's retail, it just puts retail, if it's got a retail style ground floor, then it just puts that along both roads. What we'll want to actually do is encode what the type of road it is, the width, effectively what we're calling width right now, and then like the decision of like, do you put retail facing it? If it's an alley, you don't. So then this is Q, and that was 2. What's the old value? So Q equals front side equals, so this wall is at Y0, which is the south side. So if it's south side, let's use texture, I don't know, 9. And then this one is at Y1, so it's side north. This one is at X0, so it's side west. And this one is at side east. Okay. So each one picks one of the 2 sides that faces a road randomly to be its front side and colors it that way, and that looks like it's working. And then we can have okay, at this point we don't have the seed. Everything has to be passed in. This logic is all going to change. Like the window floor height and all that stuff will actually be done inside Crate Building eventually, instead of being computed outside and passed in. This will operate on the seed. But for now, let's just have a uint32 random Crate Building. Get rand. So then int multi-front equals random and 127 is less than 80. Let's say most of them have a multi-front. So multi-front, then you do 1 shift left front side and we have to pass in the mask. Here, B has facing roads bit mask. So if it's multi-front, then we do 1 shift left front side and facing bit mask. Else we do front side equals side S. Not front side. This is just side S. I believe that's right. Just side north. Side west. Side east. So now most of them will have two front sides that face both the roads, but some only have one. And it looks like that's working. Okay. Check in again. So now we'll actually start adding the buildings to the road edges. So, road edge. So road edge crossings, we already added the support for buildings. This data structure gets really big. Well, I mean, really big by my standards, because building is big. Right, building is, I don't know, 64 bytes probably. Oh, it's private to this. That's right. So this is 32, 64 bytes. 4, 8, 16, 20, 24, 32 bytes at the moment. And then the road edge crossing includes 8 of those. So that's a K on this alone. And so then the road edge has 8 of those. So this is an 8 kilobyte data structure potentially. And we are just returning it? No, the road edge we pass in. So road corner we just return. But I think road edge, no, we do actually return it. Although the compilers should do the right thing anyway. It doesn't actually matter. But then once we've computed it, we shouldn't ever pass it around by value. We should only ever pass it by reference, and I think that's true. Now, right now, I think the road edges compute their chunks directly. Their corners, I mean? Or do they pass in the corners? No, we do pass in the corners. Okay. So we don't redundantly compute them. Okay, so anyway, so when we get to the road edge crossings, the 0th one doesn't get any buildings. No, wait, which way does the... I don't remember which way the compute facing road thing works. The facing road dist, we go from 1 to lots. So the 0th one is the special one. The lots is the one. I don't know if that's actually consistent. But anyway, so here we are. our lot size is j minus 1, and okay, here's, so our road, we know our road width here. Okay, so we have a facing road, and our extent is from U0 equals sum U1 equals, we're never using K, are we? Oh, we are here. 1 equals K. Well, sum. Let's just use sum. Okay, so we have a facing road width of width, and we go from E1 to E2. Okay, so if vertical, vertical. Let's do the horizontal first because I can reason about it more easily, I think. So if we have a facing road, then this is easier. We have a min lot size, so we use the split thing. Generate pieces. And we're going to generate, oh yeah, I called them lots, but lot isn't really the right word. It's blocks, not lots. So these are the lots, but we'll call them num build. Build widths. Let's just call it building widths. The num build, the total is E1 minus E2. The V min is min lot size, max lot size, and num build. So the num buildings is so actually all this code can live outside. All right, so if we have a facing road, then we can generate as many as we want, else num build is 2 or 1. So the num build is, the starting num build is E2 minus E1 over, I don't know, the average of the lot sizes. I guess this is like a zoning biome dependent. Let's just do something to do something. Do I have random numbers here? I do. I can say I don't know. Then generate pieces will force it back to meet the constraints. It will return a smaller num build if necessary, so you can pass in a larger one. It won't increase it ever, so you want to err on the side of being too large. I think that's correct. So this actually is driving it small. Oh no, but min lot size. If it were max lot size, then it would be the smallest it could ever be, but it's min lot size. Okay. So now once we have the number of buildings and we have their widths, it should never be able to generate more than 4, but since there's no bounds checking on it, then we place them. So if it's vertical, we're inside J loop, so for I equals 0, I less than build. P0 equals E1 P equals E1 P plus equals building width of I then along the other axis, if facing is not 0, well, okay, if facing is greater than 0, then Q1 equals facing, and Q0 equals, so we want to make all of these the same depth, I think. Int default size equals min lot size max lot size. Q1 minus default size. Else if facing is less than 0, then Q0 equals facing and Q1 equals Q0 plus default size. Otherwise, we have to pick arbitrarily and it doesn't have to be consistent. But let's just use default size to use it. So we get Q0 is negative default size over 1. Q1 equals default size over 1. Over 2, I mean. And then if vertical, okay, how do we define a building? Called make building, right? So then this is re.rec of n dot e building of I equals make building. The origin is the side origin. Road edge. Oh, we never made this a point. E2, so did I call these E1 to E2 or E0 to E1? E1, E0 to E1, okay. origin. If it's a vertical edge, then the facing runs along Y. So that's, no, the facing runs along Y, so the facing distance is along X. So it's Q0, P0, Q1, P1. The front side, if it's vertical, depends on facing. So it's front facing. Okay, so sorry, so the facing mask. Facing mask equals 0. If I is 0, then we're at the bottom edge, so facing mask, there's definitely a road to the south. And if we're on the last one, then there's definitely a road to the north. If facing is less than 0, then the facing mask side west. If facing is greater than 0, facing mask side east. Front equals side S. Front equals side N. Then actually these force override. So that's -1. Assert this is always true. That might be right. Do the same thing horizontally. If I is 0, that's side west. And this is side east. If facing is less than 0, then it faces south. This is north. And then this will be P, Q, P, Q. And then we still have some more X origins to fix. Oh, we have a bug here too. Origin must point to struct or union. We don't have an E. What do we have for an edge? RE. What about shader code? .y, .x. Oh my god, so much. typoed anything while doing all that. Divide by 0. Generate pieces. Count. Count is 0. Does that mean it was passed in as 0? Num build is 0. E1 minus E0. 134. Min lot size. Yeah, okay. Where I lost the. Okay, here it is. Let's not do that because that's a macro. Total is 0. Why is total 0? E1 minus E0 is not 0. Is not. Oh, but then we subtract. Well, we should do that, though, if we got to that case. Count is 2. How is total 0? Vmin. Oh, it was exactly. Okay. Oh, we don't pass them through. Plumb them through. We need to go to the road chunk. And where we create the buildings. Where do we create the buildings in the road chunk? Make road chunk. Make clip buildings. Oh, we do it directly there, yeah. Iterate over all the edges. Where j equals 1 to j less than e arrow numeric. I'm not sure. I don't remember which way this off by 1 thing works. For k equals 0, k less than e arrow rec of j dot num building. Make clipped building. C address here rec of j dot e building of k. Road chunk is RCH. And it didn't build anything. Okay, did we forget to plumb it through somewhere else? We never updated num building, I think. Where do we build the buildings here? Recommend dot num building equals num build. crash. Nope. Oh, you can see it here. You can see buildings. They're not correct. There's missing places. They're overlapping. It's trying. It's trying very badly. But we're starting to get there. We're starting to get there. I think we might stop there. Like you can see, it's trying to populate buildings along the edges. It's following the roads. It's just failing utterly. Then putting them through each other and stuff. Putting them into the corner where it shouldn't be putting them at all. But it's starting to be a city. The put slab logic. Did we get a huge building? Yeah, we got a building that was bigger than 256, which we're not supposed to get. Make building. So we can just assert here. We will eventually allow buildings bigger than 256 by 256, but for now, it should never happen. So if it happens, it's generate pieces generating bad data, or we're using that data wrong. Because the max lot size. Oh, it can exceed max lot size. I remember that now. Values. It's up to the caller to deal with it if it exceeds it. What did I call them? Building widths. $275 and $124. So we asked for 2, covering 275. Wait, what? Oh, and it only gave us 1. Yeah. Well, my C0 is that. This was 2. So we got, yeah, 257. So yeah, we don't enforce max width, so we need to do some logic to deal with that. Because I didn't think it would matter that we weren't enforcing it, but Then what do we do with the excess? Well, we need to shuffle it, but for now we'll just put it at the smallest ones first. All right, so if it's too large, we redistribute the excess to neighbors. And it's still just as broken as it was before, just doesn't hit that case. Right, that was a case that when we were flying around, we eventually triggered a bug. So I was just fixing that. So I didn't want to leave that lurking. Like, this is obviously flawed, but I didn't want to leave a random weirdness lurking that didn't automatically immediately happen. So that probably fixes that. It's interesting because min lot size is actually kind of the one we could violate more easily. Oh, right, because when I was writing that, I didn't think there would be a max size. And there isn't really. All right, it seems like it's working. I mean, not crashing. It's obviously broken, and we will save that for another day. Probably off stream. I'll fix it tomorrow off stream, most likely. Or later tonight. All right. So that's it. We'll wrap up the stream here. Any final questions from anybody? Yeah, it's interesting what the CSJ does, because most of the stuff is just additive, but a few things are subtractive. So when you build two buildings inside each other, I'm not sure exactly what happens. You shouldn't get this, which is invalid geometry. That shouldn't be possible. Elevator shaft. A stairwell. A floating stairwell disconnected from everything else. All right, I have not seen any questions, so we will end the stream there. Thanks everybody for being here. I will see you next time.